Hey guys, so today I'm going to be making these crispy little potatoes, so I hope you'll join me for that. Now, this dish is super simple. It's hard to even call it a recipe. All you need are these little potatoes, some kind of fat to cook them with, and some kind of seasoning. Other than that, I'm just going to use a bowl, a baking sheet, in my oven. And today I'm using some duck fat just because I have it in my fridge because I had to buy some as soon as I saw they had it on sale at my local Publix. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab a bowl here and put some of the duck fat in there. Since I keep it in the fridge, I have to melt this on the stove so that I can use it to coat these potatoes. I'm not measuring, but probably about 4 tablespoons, I'd say, for this pound and a half of potatoes. And I'm just going to, like I said, throw that on the burner there on like a one or a two just to melt it. Now, the only real prep that I need to do to these potatoes, other than wash, is to cut them in half one time. That's one of the good things about using these little potatoes is minimal prep work. Now, if I had bigger potatoes, I could do the same dish, but I'd have to spend a lot more time cutting them into smaller pieces. And I'd also have to turn them around in the oven to get them kind of evenly browned. And I'll show you what I mean about that in a little bit after I finish this part. So, anyways, once I get all these cut in half, then the next step is going to be to toss them in the bowl with the duck fat and the seasoning. So I just need to make sure that that has melted. Unfortunately, my duck fat hasn't quite melted yet, but that's going to give me a chance to get some of the other things prepped for this recipe. So I'm just going to go ahead and get all my seasonings together first. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. This is for my family. I've got some young kids, so this is just going to be salt, pepper, and some thyme. And then other than that, I just need a baking sheet and I'm going to use some parchment paper here because I always use parchment paper because it just makes cleanup so much easier. If you don't use parchment paper, why not? Come on, this is 2024. So I'm getting that all set up and all right, once we're all ready to go here, the duck fat is all melted. I'm just going to go ahead and load these up into the bowl so that I can get them coated and seasoned and ready to cook. You could use something besides duck fat if you wanted. You could use any oil, really, coconut oil. You could use bacon fat. You could use butter, um, canola oil if you really wanted to. So I'm going to be pretty generous with my salt here, and then some pepper, black pepper, and a little bit of dried thyme. I'm using probably about, I don't know, about 3/4 of a teaspoon here. If I was using fresh thyme, I'd use a bit more. Um, but for the dried thyme, about 3/4 of a teaspoon, and I'm going to kind of crumble it and pinch it in my fingers as I sprinkle it on to the potatoes. So that's all I'm going to throw in there, and then the next step is just to get in there. The best thing to use for this is your hands to mix it up and get them coated. You could use a spoon, but the thing about any kind of potato really is the cut sides will tend to sort of stick together, and then that spot on the potato might, be lacking in its coverage as far as oil or seasoning goes. So get in there with your hands, make sure that you're getting oil on all faces of the potatoes. And once that's done, you can just dump them right into the baking sheet here. And we're almost there, guys. This is about it. There's only really one more step before they go into the oven. Um, and that final step is flipping the potatoes over so they're all cut side down. Um, the thing about using the little potatoes, like I said before, we're not going to have to flip them. So I just put them all cut side down. That way, the cut side will brown against the baking sheet, and the skin will be able to sort of dry and brown and get crispy in the oven, and just works out really nice for these guys. So, anyways, that just takes a second. We're getting them all flipped over here, and I've got my oven, if I didn't mention it, it's on 400 degrees, and I am using a convection mode here. You don't have to use convection if you don't want to, or if you don't have it. It doesn't make much of a difference. It'll just make them cook a little bit quicker. So here's what they're going to look like. They're all seasoned up, oiled up, flipped over, and ready to go into the oven. 400 degrees right in the center rack. And, oh, hey there. And these will probably take in your oven anywhere from 20, 25 minutes, maybe a little longer if you want them really crispy. Um, this was about 22 minutes for me when I ended up taking them out. And you can see here, once I pull them out, they're starting to get just golden brown. Still got some nice sizzling going on there, and you can see that those skins are just starting to brown up and get crispy. And let's see if I can grab one of these and flip them over for you. You can see that the cut side is also just starting to get a little toasty. Like I said, this is for my kids. If it was for me, I'd probably take them a little further, but they don't want them too crunchy. So, anyways, after that, I'm grabbing one more bowl to just drain off the oil and give them a final seasoning. You could use like a platter or a plate if you wanted to for this too, but I just have some bowls, so that's what I'm using. So go ahead and dump them into there onto the paper towels to absorb any extra fat that you might have. You don't want to get a whole bunch of oil on your dinner plate. And then after that, all you really need to do is hit these with a little bit more salt, maybe. You know, some of the salt comes off in the oil, stays in the pan, and you're probably going to want to add a little bit more just to taste. So just give them a little salt, give them a little stir, shake, and a little more salt. Taste them out, see how they are, and you can see now these guys are ready to go. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.